All right, thank you for watching. This video is going to be about, is it a function? So my students had to go through 3 different function type problems. They were called the definition of a function. So there are 3 different types of problems asking, is it a function, is it not a function? So first I'd like to start off with defining a function. So in algebra, what is a function? So a function is a relation between a set of inputs and outputs where each input is related to only one output. What does this mean? Well, first off, inputs are your x values and outputs are your y values. So what this is saying is that for each x, it is only related to one y. So every x must go to only one y. All right. That is the rule. Every x must go to only one y. All right. So if we look down here at this mapping diagram, so mapping diagrams, it's like an XY table separated out, right? If you have an XY table, it's like taking this half out over here and this half out over here. So really this is X's and these are Y's, these are X's, these are Y's, X's, Y's, X's, Y's, X's, Y's, X. Now what are X's? Well, X's are inputs, remember, and I want to write this over and over again. So I'm just going to do it on this one. So these are inputs, these are the outputs. So the definition of a function says that every x must go to only one y. So looking here, does this x value of -1 go to only one y? Yeah, it only goes to 2. Does this x value of 0 only go to one y? Yeah. Does this x value of 1 only go to one y? Yes. Does 2 go to one y? Yes. So a mapping diagram is a quick visual because basically, if there's one arrow coming from each number here, each input, then it's a function. So this one is a function, right? This one works. Let's give it a there's a terrible check mark. All right, it works. It's a function. How about this one? We got one arrow, one arrow, one arrow, one arrow. So yeah, that one works. One arrow from -1, one arrow from 0, one arrow from 1, one arrow from 2. For each x, there is one mapping to a y. So this one also works. All right. How about this one? One arrow, one arrow, one arrow, one arrow. This one also works. Now this one sometimes confuses a student because they see, oh my gosh, there's arrows, all of them are going to one number. It does not matter how many arrows are going to a y value. What matters is there one arrow coming from -1? Yeah. Is there one arrow coming from 0? Yes. Is there one arrow coming from 1? Yes. Is there one arrow coming from 2? Yes. So for each of these x values, they only go to one y value. So this one actually works. Now this last example, you're going to see something that doesn't work. I'm going to highlight it. That does not work. It goes to that x value, this input of 1 maps to 2 different y values. It maps to 2 different ones. Now this one works, one arrow, one arrow, one arrow, but this whole thing is not a function because this single x value goes to 2 y values. That does not work. Not a function. Not a function. So what you're looking for is Is there more than one arrow coming from a number over here? Coming from an input? Is there more than one arrow coming from an input? Because if there's more than one arrow, that thing's not a function. All right. So similar thing with this set of points up here. So if I go through, grab all my highlighters, grab 4 highlighters here. And again, all we care about is that there's that an X value does not go to 2 different Y values. So what we care about is that an X value, an input, does not go to 2 different Y values. So if we go through here, we got X value of -2. We got an X value of -1, X value of 0, X value of +1. None of these X values are the same. -2 goes to 3, -1 goes to 3, 0 goes to 3, 1 goes to 3. It does not matter whatsoever that and that and that and that are all the same. It doesn't matter if the Y values are the same. What matters is that all of these X values are different. They're not repeated. An X value cannot map to 2 different Y values. So let's go through the rest of these. I'm gonna go a little bit quicker. I'm just gonna do some mass highlighting. So we got 5, 1, 0. -5 is a different number than +5. 2 is a different number than 1. 2 is a different number than 0. 8 is a different number than 5 and -5. -2 is a different number than 1 and 2. 3 is a different number than 0 and 2. 10 is a different number than 5, -5, and 8. -3 is a different number than 1, 2, and -2. Uh-oh, here's an issue. 0, 0. This says that 0 goes to 0 and that 0 also goes to 4. Basically what that's saying is if you had a mapping diagram and you had 0 over here and over here you had 0 and 4, this goes to 2 different Y values, which cannot happen. Cannot happen. So this is the one that is not a function. Not a function. The X values cannot be repeated. They can't be reused. They cannot map to 2 different Y values. Okay. The last part, the last little section of this video is looking at graphs. So for graphs, what you're going to want to use is the vertical line test. Now, we're looking for the same thing. We're making sure that none of the X values repeat, that none of the X values go to 2 Y values. So if I draw a vertical line here, does this X value go to 2 different Y values? No, it only goes to this Y value. Does this X value go to 2 different Y values? No, just that one. Same thing here, 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 just that one. So this one is a function. All right. So how about if I draw a line here? Now, a lot of students think that this would touch twice. And if you take geometry, you'll learn about tangents and stuff. But this actually technically will touch once here, and then it will touch everywhere. It actually just touches once, right? So everywhere I draw a vertical line, it touches once. So all these X values only touch once. They give out one output. If I plug in this X value, I get one output. If I plug in this X value, I get one output. If I plug in this X value, I get one output. This X value, one output. One output, one output. Over here though, if I plug in, wow, that is not a vertical line. But for the sake of this, if I plug in, let's say that this x value right here is 1. If I plug in 1, I get this y value and this y value. That doesn't work. That does not work. You can't have an input of 1 and get out 2 different things. And something I want to reiterate, not reiterate, but just mention is there's an equation for this. The equation for this is, if I don't get it wrong, been a while, is x squared plus y squared equals, I'm just gonna say 3 equals 3. It's got a radius of 3. It's a circle. Well, it's supposed to be a circle with a radius of 3. So just because there's an equation for this graph does not mean that it's a function. So that's something that you need to understand is just because there's an equation doesn't mean that equation is a function. All right. So this is not a function. This one is not a function. Fails the vertical line test. How about this next one? This next one, draw a vertical line, crosses once, vertical line, crosses once, vertical line, crosses once, vertical line, crosses once. For every x value you plug in, like let's say this x value is -2, this x value is -1, this x value is 1, this x value is 4. For every x value you plug in, you get 1 output, 1 output, 1 output, 1 output. So that one's a function. How about this one? 1 output, 2 outputs. That one does not work. Whatever x value this is, you get 2 outputs. That does not work. So that one's not a function. It fails the vertical line test. I hope this was helpful to whoever watched this video, and thank you for watching.